I am pretty sure the entire internet relates back to 4chan somehow. And you might be wondering, why am I talking about 4chan? Well, because the game we're talking about today also relates back to it. Side note, don't go to the anime section, it's hell. So what the heck happened? How did this come from this? Well, some weebs were reading a doujinshi, and at the end of it there was a single concept art of disabled high schoolers that caught the interest of the internet, or 4chan to be specific. So people took that and posted it on 4chan until some dudes were like, man, I wanna make a game out of this. And everything went alright and there were no delays whatsoever, and the game released at the scheduled time, and I lied. It took 5 years. Yeah. 5 years. This game is not made for kids. Do I really need to say that? You can still disable the sex scenes and stuff like that. It will probably break you out of the immersion though, with the pictures of fruit. Man, I can just stare at this picture of artistic integrity for hours. So in this video, I tried my best to psychoanalyze this game in every single aspect of it.
What do you mean by that?
So please enjoy this deep dive of my hard work and also suffering. This man right here is our protagonist, Hisonakai, and he got a letter telling him to come outside because someone wants to meet him. That someone is Ayonako, the love of his life, his dream girl. Oh, she's so beautiful, I wish I could actually see her face. Fun fact though, Ayonako isn't even a real Japanese name, they made it up on the spot, and considering you don't even see her face, her name is not even that important. Anyways, she just confesses to him and he just decides it's the perfect time for him to die. After that, he's transported into a hospital where they managed to save his life. Hizo had a heart attack, arrhythmia to be specific. Anyway, let's just skip the depressing monologue and let's get down to business. The doctor comes in and he was like, oh my god, are you alright? Think you're alright? Here's a bunch of pills I hope you can afford to buy in this economy. And yeah, they are a lot, like not even joking amount, like lotsy. At least I will be able to go back to my old school. Oh yeah, that's not happening.
What?
We can't risk you being hit on the back or front actually, and not to mention your crush is there, so you'll probably have another heart attack when you see her. Weakling. Okay, let's be serious for a moment here. I know I've been making jokes about it, but this event changed Hiso's life forever. Not only robbing his body away from him, but also robbed his social life away from him. I was gonna talk about Act 1 in depth, but it's not really necessary. Basically, Act 1 is an introduction to the characters and Hiso struggling to get used to things. There is also Peter Griffin, which is cool.
I mean, the only N-word that we drop on a daily basis at my house is...
Like most visual novels, this game has arcs in which you get to decide which waifu you will be spending the rest of your life with. The arcs are Emi, Lilly, Hanako, Shizune, and Rin. The arc which you will be choosing is decided obviously by you in Act 1, and since this is my video, I will be starting with Emi Ibarazaki. Emi Ibarazaki, your typical short anime girl that's not actually tsundere. Emi, seeing his mental state and trying to adjust to the school, decides to help the poor little fella. by running him to death. Emi is stubborn and outgoing and legless. That's the best way to describe her. Giving up is not in her vocabulary. If you're alive, you can do it, and you will do it because she will kill you if you don't. Act 2 is all about learning more about Emi and developing your relationship with her, while getting hints and pieces about a future conflict that's gonna occur in the next act. Something you might have noticed if you're paying close attention is that Emi doesn't really have any friends, and it's kinda her doing that her life is like that, i.e. not miserable but still very lonely. We will get back to why in a short bit. Anyways, Act 2 ends with Emi confessing to Hiso, and somehow the student council knows about it. Sometimes I feel like Shizune should have some sort of a third eye or something. Transitioning to Act 3, we finally get to see what has been bothering Emi on full display. The accident that Emi has been involved in that not only took away her legs but also her father has been affecting her more and more due to her father's death anniversary coming soon. But when you start to think about it more, stuff doesn't really add up. His eagerness to know more about the accident, what happened to her father, why is the accident so traumatic for her, has caused him to try asking her again and again, and at the end he gets the same answer every time, albeit other times harsher than others. The answer is that the accident doesn't really matter, and it really doesn't. The author clearly shows that yeah, it has some role into why Emi is like that, but still, it's not the focus of the story here. It's not even the focus of Emi. Something else is, and that is Emi's way of not wanting anyone to get close to her due to what she has lost in the past. Getting the ugly knowledge that everything can just be taken away from her in an instant. Emi's running is a metaphor of her running away from her problems and not wanting to face them. She wants to conceal her thoughts and forget about them, only focusing on the track, her breathing, and going to the next curve. Which is the reason why she doesn't have any friends. But Hiso doesn't know any of this. In fact, the relationship is so surface level that they don't even feel any different when they go out on dates. So Hiso now has to go around and figure out how to deal with her problems without messing everything up. I wanna intervene here and put my input a bit. This arc or route, or whatever you wanna call it, like to challenge the player. Most of the arcs are like that. I say most because if you're like Hiso, focusing too much on Emi will get you the bad ending. Most visual novels will put you in a stupid decision where at the end of it, like it doesn't even matter. Emi's arc mastered how to be subtle, like the way Emi told Hiso how she didn't feel any different when they started dating, which, like I said, shows how surface level the relationship is. I like this arc because it has this mix of sweet, sour, and also challenging to some extent vibe to it. Let's get back to the though. I went with the talk to the 3 people that know Emi best, the teacher, it doesn't count though because he doesn't really know her, the nurse, which for some reason his name is still yet to be discovered, and Emi's mom. The most useful one is her mother, telling Hiso most of the stuff he needs to be able to solve this puzzle, which led him to being kicked out of the house. Another thing I forgot to mention is Ionako's letter. First, he read a bit of it and said, nah, I'm done with this crap, and threw it somewhere in his room. Coming back to it at the end of the act and reading the rest of it, he finally realized he's being tested again. At the hospital, Hiso knew that his life has changed. His old life will be no more, and now he has to live his life like that. Faced with this reality, he gave up on himself. Reading the rest of the letter, he now knows how much Ayonako struggled to confront Hiso, to say the right words to support him. In short, don't let your words be unspoken. Getting this knowledge, Hiso now has all the keys to finally confront Emi. But he is struggling to get to that point because he can't find the right time to confront her, and also because his partner pretends like nothing happened between them that day. But due to some quick thinking on Rin's part, Hiso now has the opportunity to face Emi. And then we get the most important dialogue in this arc. Hiso at the beginning of Act 2, after knowing a bit of what Emi struggles with, wanted to help Emi desperately and be by her side. Albeit it's a good thing, he kinda pitied Emi a bit, not believing that she can get through this on her own. That's what we understood while he was talking with her mom. The problem with that thinking is that it's majorly flawed. Emi can get through this on her own. Killing herself, like her mom said, would have been much easier if that's not the case. The accident didn't define Emi. Her losing her legs didn't define her either. Emi just doesn't want anyone to get close to her, fearing that it might all end out of nowhere, just like what happened with her dad. Due to this trauma, Emi pushed away any attempts to getting close to her by the people who cared about her, even her mother to some extent. And that's why she gets so mad every time Hiso offers her his hand, believing that he sees her as someone who can get through this on her own, less than capable, someone who needs rescuing. Hiso now believes otherwise though. He wants to help her just because. Not because he believes she can get through this on her own, but because he just wants to and because he loves her. The expecting eye of a mother, the inspirational talk of a father, and the embrace of a lover. All these things could be taken away from you one day and will be taken away from you someday. Even though one could hear this statement and feel really better. One could hear these words and realize that spending time in isolation is stupid. Spending your time in fearing people, terrified that they might go away, is not the correct thing to do. You deserve to love and be loved. You deserve someone to get close to you and hold your hand and tell you that even though it's hard, you can get through this and they believe in you. And they will be there for you when you need them. You don't have to live in this present moment alone, and you don't have to fight alone. There are people out there reaching their hands for you, begging you to take it. So how about opening your heart to them and letting them see your true smile? Just for once. Hello everybody, my name is Multiplier and I have a confession to make. I kinda have a kink for tall blonde anime women. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is my favorite arc and talking about it fills my head with so much dopamine a gacha player would be jealous. Lilly is one of the 5 girls you can date in this game, and she's by far the most perfect one. And the game doesn't hide the display of perfection, and that is nothing more than a facade, something she has learned from her old school. I love Lilly's arc, not because I have mommy issues. No, I don't have it. But because I love seeing the interaction between these two characters, i.e. Hiso and Lilly. And even though Emi and Hiso also had great interactions, it was overshadowed by the conflict that made its way into the And even though Emi and Hiso also had great interactions, it was kinda overshadowed by the conflict that made its way into the surface. The best description of Lilly is that she is kind of a perfectionist in appearance. From the way she holds the cup of tea to the way she taps her napkin on her mouth only 3 times. And she's also very independent. Hates to be reminded that there are some tasks that she can do on her own due to her blindness. But beneath all of that lies a girl that is very childish at heart and kinda horny. We do not talk about the bathroom scene. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention in Amy's arc is that all acts has names, form, perspective, and motion. All of these obviously describe how the acts will go and what Hiso learns from it. In Lily's arc, we get past, present, and future. In past, Hiso and Lily face their past, obviously. In present, they establish a relationship with each other. And future is where they build that relationship and the conflict, I don't know if I should really call it that, appears and be resolved. Or not, depending on your choices. Now, even though I said the interaction between these two is what makes the arc great, the conflict that happens, which is not exactly between the two, but it's a conflict that makes Hiso needs to change and need to change quickly before everything crumbles down on him. Again, to catch you up on what's going to happen, Lily's family lives in Scotland. They left her and Akira when she was 12 due to some business they had over there. And you might be wondering why didn't they take Akira and Lily with them. Akira has a job in one of her father's branches in Japan, so she has to stay there for the sake of it. And Lily, obviously, for her education. In Act 2 past, Lily has to meet her parents again because one of her aunts has fallen gravely ill. So she goes over to Scotland to visit her aunt and, of course, parents, even though she doesn't even remember anything about that aunt of hers. This gives a big picture about how disconnected this family is. But even though they are disconnected, her parents at the end of the visit offered her someone to stay in Scotland after she finishes high school, obviously. Now, we don't get any of this until the end of Act 4, where we start to question why Lily's being so not composed at all. Some people actually blame Hiso for not understanding the fact that she has a big decision on her hand, even though I'm gonna be honest with you, she hid it pretty well. Even I was surprised when that information was laid out on me. The most important thing the author focuses on here is the development of Hiso, Lily, and Hanako to some extent. So let's dive in and see how these characters change over time, and let's mix in the conflict too, since it does affect them quite a lot. Act 2, like we know, is titled Past. It delves inside the current connection between Hiso, Lilly, and also Hanako in some ways. Lilly is going to see her family again, but what about Hiso? What is Hiso dealing with right now? Yeah, this one. And also, okay, let's tackle the latter for a second here. Hiso's heart was never really made a plot point in any of the arcs. Shizune, something happened at Act 1, which is not even the beginning of the arc, and I have a lot to say about her arc. Hanako, mentioned a couple of times, and that's it. Rin, she used it as a gag. Emi is the only arc you could say it has been used as a plot point, since his heart improved due to his running with her every day, but really was an issue for him after the first few runs. In Lilly though, Hiso is struggling because of his heart, and the medication he's been taking not making him sleep well, making Lilly worry quite a bit. And he doesn't really like that, since it reminds him that he is not normal, that he has a heart that could easily give out at any moment in time. And he also doesn't want to be treated any differently because of it. With pity, I mean. But is really Lilly treating Hiso any differently because of his heart? This is a question we will get an answer to the more we learn about Lilly. I also want to talk about Hanako for a moment here, because it's related to the title of the act. In the last arc, we discussed how Hiso threw away the letter at first just to pick it up again and learn something crucial from it. In this one though, the paper doesn't even show up at all, so we could read it. Hiso just summarizes it. It's just a letter to tell Hiso that the past is the past. It's done, it's no more, and he should really start focusing on his present moment. And the rest of the arcs we tackle are just like that with the letter. The only exception is Emi. It's a letter to get rid of Hanako's guilt of not being able to tell Hiso what he needed to be told then, and also in their relationship once and for all. Anyways, after that, Lilly leaves Scotland, her parents, whatever. If you feel like you're getting lost in all of this, here's a free one. In present, like I said before, Hiso and Lilly start to actually establish a relationship, and it's just so cute. Really, listen man, I'm just a sucker for good romance. It just makes my heart happy. Let's fast forward a bit. That's too much. I think I'm in the wrong game. I gently open I don't like what this is. Anyways, Lilly comes back, the three of them go on a trip. In the middle of it, Hiso remembers that he has arrhythmia, and he trips and dies. He didn't die, but this is where an amazing scene happens. One misshapen family, Lilly having fun and making memories with Hiso and Hanako. These things are not gonna go on forever, not only because of Hiso's heart reminding her of that, but also her parents summoning. Lilly has been rushed to confess to Hiso, because if she doesn't, she will leave regrets behind, just like she did last time. Her saying I love you over and over again is just so sweet, and at the same time heartbreaking if you did play this arc before, knowing the issues that will come. Now, you might be wondering, what does last time mean? Well, Lilly was in love with a teacher back in her old school. She loved English because of him, and he inspired her to become a teacher just like him. She never confessed her feelings to him for obvious reasons. The regrets of these unspoken feelings has been weighing heavy on her heart. Losing someone. Lilly has lost a lot of people. Her parents, her first love. She never felt resentment towards any of these stuff, but it's for sure as hell affected her. And this is where Act 3 ends. Act 4 continues on bettering Hiso and Lilly's relationship. They go on dates, they exploded likes and dislikes, and also some past is thrown into the mix about how Lilly was in the student council together with Shizune. By the way, the first time I saw that Shizune and Lilly's photo, I was so surprised that that was Misha, since I did not play Shizune arc at that time, and she looked really different here. Anyways, Lilly's mental state is affecting her a lot recently, getting angry at weird times, avoiding talks about future plans, and most of all, rushing Hiso. Like, really rushing him. They said they will take it slow, but I don't think that's happening at all. The evidence to that is Hiso's mental state, feeling strange about everything. Awkward silence are happening more and more when he's around Lilly. He feels something is off. And then he gets the bomb dropped on him. The summoning. Up this one. Akira has always resented her parents for leaving her and Lilly alone, but this opportunity cannot be missed, since she will be working in Inverness. And also during that time, when she went to Scotland, like we already know, Lily has been given a summon to go back to her family. Akira told that to Hiso because Lily has been hiding it for a really long time. And Akira doesn't know when will she drop it on Hiso, so she had to do it herself. Hiso now has to know, will she leave or stay? But yeah, Lily's leaving. That sense of independence I mentioned about Lily before, it was because she didn't want to be a burden on others due to her blindness. And that's why she hates admitting that she relies on others sometimes. And that's also why she never told Hiso about her future plans. It's a hypocritical thing that she has, considering she was the one that told Hiso that his burdens doesn't have to be only his. And Hiso himself never took the lead. He just let things roll out. He let life take him where it wanted him to go. Due to his absolute reliance on Lily, he never questioned her. He never was truly there for her, and he lost. But most of all, Lily never told Hiso that she wanted to go. She just stated reasons on why she should go. If you manage to open up to Lily about yourself, your condition, and your past, Hiso would be so attached to her that he just can't let her go without a fight. I went to Shizune's house so he could finally tell her that he wants her to be there with him, with everyone she loves. Discovering that she has left to the airport, he makes a mad dash over there and finally he sees her, but his heart is not very happy about all of that running. And he's back at the hospital. Again, to restart his life again. From square one. A tiny small melody. A music box that Hiso has given to Lily a long time ago. And now it's here, which means Lily is here. She didn't leave. And now Hiso can tell her that he wants her to stay. Giving up your happiness is stupid. Screwing someone over for the sake of it is also stupid, but that doesn't mean that when good reasons are provided for you to do or not do something that you should just follow through. What do you want to do? Hiso doesn't want her to feel the same pain he felt when everything was snatched away from him, and he just let it be. And Lily finally makes a decision of her own free will. A really wholesome one at that. Lily's arc has a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love it. Not only because of the interaction between the two that makes both of them seem like real people, but also the fact that he so challenged fate and life itself to get what he wants. He wanted to also hear what Lily wanted, not to hear the reasons for why she should go. It's a simple but effective message that does its job very well. This ending out of all of the endings in Katawa is the most perfect ending. It's apparently so perfect, people actually speculated that this must be an all-in-the-head moment. What I also really like about this arc is that it does the same message that is presented throughout Katawa, but in a different way. What is that message? I am not saying. I'm gonna reveal it at the end of this video, but you can easily guess what it is. Now, Oh, it's you. Well, time to cry, I guess. Oh boy, the shy introverted girl with a tragic past strikes again. I will never forgive the Japanese. This time though, it's done right. Super right, actually. Considering Hanako and the way she looks, it's obvious as hell why she is like that. Introverted, I mean. Actually, one look at the way he reacts when he sees her in the library is enough to tell us that it's not the only time that this has happened before. Hanako's arc differs from the other arcs since the conflict is actually hidden between the lines. You have to focus on what the characters say, how he reacts, and also Hanako. Because in this one you could easily get the bad ending without realizing it. You could say that the conflict is her scars and all of the backstory she drops on us, but that's, like all of the other arcs, only a part of the issue. It goes deeper than that. Now, I did describe Hanako as shy and introverted, but when you get to know her, you realize that she is also very competitive and doesn't let stuff get her down that easily, even if she fails a couple of times. She's also willing to change, even going through the attempt of greeting Hiso in the morning, which is something very hard for a shy introverted person to do. The first act of Hanako's arc follows Hiso as he gets Hanako to come out of her shell and talk to him more comfortably. Eventually, they start playing chess and having more fun spending time with each other. At the end of the act though, Lilly tells Hanako about Hiso's arrhythmia, so she turns to make sides even, and tells Hiso about the accident that took away her parents. At the age of 8 on her birthday, when everyone was asleep, Hanako's house caught on fire, and the only reason Hanako survived is because her mom protected her from the flames. But that decision is what led to her mother's death. She doesn't mention what happened to her father, but it's fair to assume that he was also engulfed by the flames. While she got along with the kids and the older people there, she couldn't make friends outside of that area due to her scars, getting bullied and harassed because of it, and this made her very aware of her scars. Feeling sorry for anyone who sees her, feeling sorry for making them react that way, which made her more shy than she was before, and promoted the idea of self-isolation until she got to Yamako. While stuff is still hard on her, even in the school of the disabled, she can live on with her own pace and forget anyone there, and then she met Lilly, whom she got along with. And then Hiso. Hiso only gets a part of this during her first act, and the rest she tells him later. But this is the backstory of Hanako that we need to keep on our minds so we could accurately discuss her character and the issues that Hanako and Hiso bring to the table. It's the following act where stuff starts to get serious. During one of the usual school days, Hanako comes and groups up with Hiso and the student council to do an assignment together in class. The day before that, Hiso went with Lilly gift hunting for Hanako's birthday. And of course, Shizuno being Shizuno, she wanted to know why Hiso didn't spend time with Hanako yesterday. Sometimes Shizuno is very unbearable, I'm gonna be honest. Connecting the dots together, Hanako was able to distinguish that Hiso went out with Lilly, wanting to know the reason why, and Shizuno and Misha pushing down on Hiso's neck. Hiso spills the bean, which resulted in Hanako having a mental breakdown in front of the whole class. Actually, it's more like a panic attack, which is mixed in with some PTSD. Doesn't make it better though. After that, Hiso gets a call from Lilly telling him to come to meet her. She tells him about the whole incident we spoke about in the last arc. Hiso and Lilly then go and visit Hanako in her room to check up on her mental state. Hiso experiencing all of this and saying what could happen if he triggers her PTSD, decided not to take his feelings any further, prioritizing Hanako's safety, and this is where the issue began. You see, Hiso in this arc has a savior complex. What is a savior complex? A savior complex is an attitude and a demeanor in which a person believes that they are responsible for assisting other people. Or that's what the wiki says. Hiso in this act protects Hanako to a faulty level, feeding her bad habits, leading them to grow more and more. Seeing Hanako as nothing more than a child that needs protecting, not believing that she can take care of herself. Even if he doesn't mean to do it, he still does it. While it's good that he wants her to be happy and never experience something like that again, it also devaluates her and makes her no less than someone who can deal with anything on her own, always needing help. Which I'll provide an example which completely contradicts her needing help in the first place. Depression makes taking care of yourself hard. Personal hygiene, like taking a shower and brushing your teeth, becomes a burden. When Hiso went and visited Hanako a day after the incident, he noticed that she just recently had a shower, which shows that she is more than capable of overcoming these depressive episodes and coming out at the other end fine. All Hanako wants is someone to be there for her, not someone who protects her from everything and everyone. Anyways, later on, Hanako and Hiso go on a night out with Lilly and Akira, but they are not important, where they share their past and start to get vulnerable with each other. Hanako talks about the orphanage and Hiso about Hanako and his past. What I really like about this part though is when Hiso says he will protect Hanako, and she just stares at him. And here we can see the next issue in front of us, miscommunication. Hanako never told Hiso that she doesn't want to be protected by anyone. She never conveyed to Hiso her true feelings, and Hiso is also in the same boat here. He never conveyed there that he likes her and he is stopping himself. It's a complicated situation that will lead to disaster later on. What I really like about this part is also that Hanako tells Hiso that she is there for him. Not protecting him, but she is there for him. Hiso probably developed this severe complex due to his tragic event that robbed his heart away from him, believing that nobody should go through the same pain as he did. Remember a tragic event or a time where nobody was there for you. Anyways, Hanako's birthday is looming around the corner and she is absent from school. At first, Hiso visits her and she responds, albeit with some difficulty, but the next day is when she tells him to go away. Wounded and not knowing what to do, Hiso calls Lilly to ask her about it, and she tells him something that he doesn't really like. Her decision is that he should stay away from her and give her some time, and this contradicts Hiso's savior complex. In order to get the good ending in this arc, you as the player have to contradict Hiso's internal monologue. Spending time with Hanako, dragging her out of her comfort zone, taking her to the city, giving her alone time when she needs it. That's why as a first time playthrough, it's hard to get the good ending, because if you try to understand the line itself and forget to look at the whole picture, you will make the same mistake as Hiso, which will end up making Hanako's situation worse. We now get a very crucial part of the story. Hiso shows Hanako his car, the one he got from the heart surgery. He showed it to her so he could accept the past and move on, and she could also find her own footing with this. After a little while, Hanako finally decides to open up to Hiso completely. Taking him on a walk, he starts telling her more about his past. But then he realizes that Hanako is taking him to her room, and she tells him that she intends on showing him her scars, just like he did. A little note here, Hanako didn't want to show Hiso her scars just because he showed her his, but because she wanted him to see her real self. That she is uglier than he thinks and more messed up than he thinks. It's really depressing, and what happens afterwards doesn't make it much better either. Okay, let's pause here. Hiso is in love with Hanako, right? All the time he tried to suppress his emotions because of the way he saw her back then. But now she is naked in front of him. Of course his emotion is gonna explode at this point. And then the infamous sex scene happens. I know, I get it. This part is uncomfortable because it resembles the R word that I'm not gonna say. But people tend to miss the point entirely when it comes to this part. What people wanted Hiso to do is to embrace Hanako, tells her it's alright and it doesn't change anything about her and all of that booby stuff. It's understandable that you want that, but have you been paying close attention to the message of this arc? Miscommunication. If he were to do that, it would contradict all of the stuff he thought and did throughout the past 2 arcs. It would be weird for him to suddenly, out of nowhere, is able to communicate his feelings and maybe tell her that he likes her, or embrace her and tell her that everything is fine and dandy. Hanako herself doesn't say anything about it. Actually, she kinda encouraged him to go on. Did she want this? Maybe, because she loves him, but she didn't want to have sex in this weird way. Some people hate on this scene for being like that, and now it's wrong to label it the good ending. But that's entirely the point. They are making a mistake, which breaks their relationship apart and forces them to confront each other about all of this. And if you notice, in all of the sex scene, this music plays. While in Hanako's, this one plays. It's another indication that what they are doing is wrong. Due to this mistake, Hiso is now forced to confront Hanako about, all of that, or he will lose her forever. People build walls around themselves to protect themselves from the world and everyone that wants to hurt them. But what you don't know is sometimes these walls are so thick to the point that the people you actually love and care about can reach you from behind it, leaving them confused and disheartened. Hiso and Hanako are broken people, trying to converse with each other behind these walls, trying to break them down so they could reach each other. Hiso finally talks to Hanako and she finally tells him that if she was only someone that needed protection, he might have gone away. That if he had that intercourse with her, he might see her as something more special. What Hiso never wanted to happen happened because of him. She thinks that she is worthless, someone that you throw away once you get bored of. Like he was thrown away by his friends when he became a broken person. But it's the same way he viewed Hanako. Hiso loves Hanako and never acted on it because he thought she was fragile. She never told him about any of this though, and made him speculate and move at different areas she never wanted. Hanako thought of herself as a burden to Lilly and to everyone, but she doesn't want to be like that for Hiso though. She loves him as much as he loves her, but she couldn't even see herself as a friend to him due to her self-hatred. And Hiso never told Hanako what he actually wanted, leaving her to her own thoughts. Finally, Hiso was able to say the words without a shame, and to tell her that he loves her and how wrong he was at the way he approached things. And they embrace each other in their sorrow and delight. In this ending, Hanako found someone that cares for her, as an equal, not as a child. And finally, Hanako is able to give Hiso something she wanted to give him for a really long time. In a very direct manner that the least bit of hesitation. The walls they have built around themselves aren't fully broken, but they will be if they take it down together, step by step. people don't actually like this arc as much as you think, because it's probably the shortest one in the game, ending before even Lily comes back. Yes, it would have been interesting to see more of the story and her reaction to Lily leaving and how he was going to support her, but I think ending it here is also pretty nice. It delivered the message it wanted to deliver and it ended pretty sweet in my opinion. Shizuno and Misha, they are the first two you meet when you enter Yamago. Actually, the first one is Muto, but who cares about him? They are both in the student council and are actually the only members before he showed up. When they see and realize Hiso has nothing to do with his life, they push Hiso to join the student council and suffer for all eternity. Shizuno is serious, but at the same time childish at heart type of person. She is also very competitive, like really competitive. Misha is just your typical happy-go-lucky person that is also dumb and has clinical depression. I wonder, where have I seen this before? Shizuno is... wait a minute, is that the girl with Lelouch? I cannot believe this. Oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Shizuno is deaf, and you might be wondering what is Misha's disability. Forgetting the fact that she's acoustic, she's also... no, I can't say that. Stop. No, she's gay. She's a lesbian. Yeah. But how about this one, huh? You should have gone to a mental asylum. I'm just joking around. But this is actually part of the plot we will get to later. Starting from Act 1. Hiso, after accepting the proposal of joining the student council, spent the majority of time getting to know Misha and Shizuno through, working with them on the festival. In Act 2, Hiso realized that he can't really talk with Shizuno and he doesn't want to keep writing on a pad or even keep talking to her through Misha. And this is where our problems begin. Have you noticed something about Misha? She is very loud. Not only that, but she is also described as Shizuno's shadow in other arcs, which is not wrong at all. Let me fill you in what I mean here. Before Hiso's arrival, possibly in the second year of high school, Misha fell in love with Shizuno, but Shizuno rejected her. So Misha decided if she's not gonna be loved by her, at least she will be needed by her, reforming herself into something Shizuno needed, like her interrupter for example. The problem with that is that we don't really get to see Misha being Misha, we only get to see the mask she hides behind to cover up her sorrow and sadness. And this problem gets amplified when Hiso arrives. At the end of Act 2, Hiso confesses, and what I really like about this confession is that there is no drama whatsoever, different from the other arcs completely. Except Rin. He just tells her, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? And she thinks about it a bit and then says yes. And it makes it kind of bad for how grounded in reality this one is. Act 2 is all about learning more about Shizuno through working with her, obviously, and learning sign language to be able to speak to her on equal terms. The interesting thing about Shizuno is that she wants to make friends with people, but at the same time, her way of thinking isn't like any other. When she first saw Hiso, she viewed him as a challenge of some sort. He was depressed at the time due to everything being taken away from him, and he wanted to shut everyone who wanted to get close to him. Seeing that, Shizuno decided to cheer him up. And seeing how her effort brought the result, Shizuno was happy and fell in love with Hiso in the process. Another problem with Shizuno is that she likes to take responsibility. It's something that gives her meaningless life a purpose. While that is a good thing, the problem is if she can take up this responsibility and make everyone happy, it means that it was worth it in the end. And again, that's another reason why she fell in love with Hiso. The problem is that she doesn't really think about the people around her when she takes that much responsibility, leading them to leaving her due to the insane amount of pressure, like Lily and the other members that left her side. The only one left was Misha, but she was also affected by it, losing sleep and sometimes getting left behind in class work, having to make up for it. Here comes another problem. Shizuno lives in the present moment. Too much. And it's one of the themes of this arc. Shizuno views life like pictures. A single event that starts and then comes another one. And that's bad, if you couldn't tell. Like really bad, because if a friend were to confess their love to you and you say no and expect the next day both of you to be just on good terms, it's ignorant. All these stuff that I laid out in front of you gets told to Hiso in bits and pieces during this arc. But now that we know more about Shizuno, we can tackle Misha on a more grounded level. Misha, like I said before, is Shizuno's interrupter. Her shadow, she filled in the voice that Shizuno lacks. And that's where the problem lies. Misha is not her own person, she is Shizuno's. Let's get back to the story for a moment here. After that whole Shizuno's arc that made me want to vaporize myself. Oh my god, would you shut up? We see that Misha is starting to act weird, having more arguments with Shizuno and a fight off screen, and venting to Hiso about her frustration with Shizuno and the way she does things. Misha really doesn't care about the student council, she only cares about Shizuno, while Shizuno also cares about Misha. Some problems do arise whenever Misha voices her opinion about certain stuff, and how some things Shizuno do don't really matter in the long term. And if you're wondering why now, why did Misha show her true self now? Well, high school is coming to an end, and she wants to spend as much time as she could with the person she loves, but Shizuno is often busy. Not only that, but she refuses her help from time to time. This is obviously a disaster for her, because she's about to lose Shizuno. Anyways, after Kenji makes you pay like 7,900 yen for a book you destroyed, which is around $50 now. Here comes the only choice we can make in this arc. Misha during the evening goes and visited Hiso and asks him about if he made Shizuno sad, but that doesn't make sense. None of this is about Hiso anymore. I'm pretty sure he's out of the picture right now. We kinda know why she's sad though. Part of it's Misha and the other part is the student council. Even if she won't admit it, she likes that place and the responsibility of it. Misha can speak to Shizuno about her problems because, well, she is the problem. How can you talk about your problems to the person who caused them? You can, but it's really difficult. And then she wants you to comfort her. You know, English is not my first language, so when I played this game when I was young, I thought that meant that he was going to tell her that everything is going to be alright and all the heebie-jeebie stuff. But nope, I was wrong. I got the bad ending. Anyways, cheating is bad. On the rooftop, Hiso is finally being felt about the past that happened between Misha and Shizuno. Misha at first came to the school to become a sign language teacher, and from the way she's telling things, she thinks of herself very badly, to the point that people don't even like her. She met Shizuno though, and they became friends, and she obviously wanted to join the student council with her. And Misha's selfish desire to keep Shizuno all to herself wished that she would always be alone, and she would always depend on Misha so she could like her, even though she knew that was impossible. As you can see, this love isn't very good. It's a very toxic one. Misha was kinda becoming a slave to Shizuno by her own will. Still, to some degree, Shizuno never told her to do any of these stuff, but she would do them thinking it would please her. But Shizuno just wanted Misha to be her friend after all. Also, due to her personality and the way she deals with her worries, it's obvious that Misha would feel worse because of her. After that, Shizuno appears and yeah, she was eavesdropping on them, considering that afterwards Shizuno talked to Misha about it and they had a fight. Now though, I want to talk about Shizuno more. Like we talked about before, Shizuno does have a lot of flaws. But what she wants is to make people happy, even if she kinda screws up in the way she deals with it. She wants to cheer up Misha, but it's kinda impossible. Like I said, Shizuno sees life as segments, and Misha sees it as a whole experience. Making these two come together is like making oil dissolve in water. She doesn't think about the effects of her actions in the long term and how it affects others. Misha is Misha and Shizuno is Shizuno, nothing more and nothing less. She can touch someone's life, but can make it more than that. So it's up to Hiso to make things right here. Hiso takes Misha on a tour around the school, showing her the places he felt miserable at first, but then came to love and like. He then drives a point on how when he was at the hospital he pushed everyone away from him and didn't try to keep in contact with the people he liked. He has regrets in the way he didn't try hard enough to keep in touch with his friends, and he tells that to Misha because he doesn't want to see her and Shizuno end up in the same way. He doesn't want Misha to give up her friendship with Shizuno. Misha after a while recovers and she seemed to finally pursue her dream, the goal she actually came to the school to achieve, being a sign language teacher. She starts caring more about her grades and actually becoming her own person, not Shizuno's. After that, we get to talk about how Shizuno messed up and what she wants to become in the future and the end. Listen, I like this arc, but looking at it from a bird eye view reveals to me that the author didn't know what the hell he wanted to write. It's a story about unrecruited love, it's a story about a love triangle, is it about discovering your passion or what is going on? From what the people say, it's a story about having fun with what you have and loving it because one day it will come to an end. But you already did that with Emi, and her arc is way better than this. It's way more put together than this. And I still don't understand why the author doesn't want us to see Hiso interacting more with Shizuno. Heck, most of Act 3 and 4 are spent on stuff I didn't even care about that much. Like, what the hell is this house arc? I hate it. Every time I want to play Shizuno's arc again, I remember that this part exists, and takes around 90% of Act 3. Why couldn't I see Hiso interacting with Shizuno outside of the student council? know more about her that way. Instead of her pulling me inside of a classroom telling me about, I don't know, that she wants to take over the world or something. I don't dislike the arc, but looking at it like this feels off. Don't understand how could this be the longest arc in the game and still have so much time skips. Why couldn't I see more of this instead of this? I don't know. I'm just really mad at the lost potential, I guess. And if you like this arc, it's completely fine, man. I do like it too. I just wish it was more interesting, I guess. Anyway, let's get out of this mess and move into something more great. Oh, hello, Ren. Didn't see you there. This is truly the lobotomy arc. Ren is, she is interesting. I don't know why it's kinda hard to reach her arc, but whatever. Most people reading Ren's arc for the first time, I'm gonna be honest with you, they won't really like it due to how much confusion there is in this arc. But if you dig deep enough, Ren's arc is probably the most serious one of them all, due to how much stuff the arc tackles. From self-identity, depression, and uncertainty to destroying oneself to becoming something that you're not, and the expectation of the people around you crushing you, and the people around you trying to fix you. This arc is probably one of the hardest hitting arcs in the game, and this is why. Ren always talks weird. Even in other arcs, she is like that. In her arc though, she's always trying to reach Hiso with her words. But it's always futile. She can't convey her thoughts well. Whatever she is thinking about it, she just can't put them in coherent words. And that's why every sentence she makes comes out convoluted, weird, and vague. And that's also why she draws, so people can understand her thoughts. So also Hiso can understand her thoughts. But it's still not working. Rin's arc challenges the player to a new level. You know, Shizune's arc had one single choice. Do you wanna cheat? Do you wanna not cheat? I wanna know where you're gonna go. Here you get questioned basically about everything, making the player pay close attention to the text, because some of them don't even make sense, reflecting the confusion that Hiso is feeling. During Act 2, Hiso tries to understand Rin and bridge the gap between them, and finally being able to communicate on the same level. Not really, but close, I guess. And at the same time, Hiso is dealing with himself. He feels like he's not really who he thinks he is, that he lost a part of his soul. Hiso still didn't overcome the accident that took away his life, and he's still feeling very sorry for that bitter man on the hospital bed. That's why when Rin draws him, he's gloomy and sad, and when he asked about it, she told him that she never saw him smiling once she came to know him. Hiso instead comes to terms with himself and decides to finally forget about his old self. In the meantime, Rin is undergoing major changes due to this man right here. Rin, after her mural on the school festival, gets an invite to an important person's place in the art industry to review her art. The problem with that is that Rin doesn't really like her art to be viewed in that way, in a critical mean, I mean. And also the financial stuff about it. She drew so people could understand her. So she says she has to change in case she goes there, which he's to convince her to do. But he still doesn't understand what she means by change, or why would she change since, well, he's not an artist and doesn't understand the risk of making it big. The entirety, well, mostly of Act 3 gets spent at the apartment above the art gallery, where that person, say, I hope that I'm saying her name right, tells Rin the stuff that needs to be changed in her art. And Rin trying to draw more, how do I say this, more coherent stuff, and yeah, this leads to Rin not being able to draw for about a week. The problem here is that Nomiya sees his dream in Rin. He failed at making it big and achieving his dream. So when he saw Rin's art and described her as a prodigy, he realized that his dream of not making it can still be achieved by one of his students. An expectation that she didn't even want to be put on her has been bestowed on her by this guy. Why am I talking like this? And in terms of say, she pities the girl because her husband was also an amazing artist, but due to his obsession, he died young. What about Hiso? Well, he has fallen in love with Rin, and this makes it more of a problem because he can still understand what she says most of the time, which makes it even more frustrating when he confesses his feelings and she just rejects him. We do know why she did that, because the whole art thing, she wants to destroy herself. That means that she can't do stuff she likes anymore. She can do art in the same way she likes. She tries smoking and all of that stuff. And as far as I see it, Rin does like Hiso. She loves him even, but if she did accept his feelings, it would only lead to her doing something that she likes, which she doesn't want to. She kisses him, she tries and talk to him, she wants him by her side. It's really bittersweet, but for her to become a true artist, she has to forget about those things. Hiso's job or your job actually, is to ensure her to not forget about those things. Act 4 is basically getting her out of that shithole that he saw himself dove her into. Something that I didn't mention about all the other arcs is the bad ending. In order for you to get Ren's bad ending is for you to basically destroy your relationship with Ren by telling her to explain herself, which something she can't really do because, well, it's Ren. Anything that will come out of her mouth will make stuff even more complicated. And in order to get the neutral ending, which is somehow worse, you would understand Ren but still put her in a place that is worse than the destroying your relationship with her part. It's actually preferable if Hiso did that instead of this. And it's honestly heartbreaking reading what she says in this ending because it's the first time Ren's was actually coherent. Ren's changed into something that she never wanted to be, and it is your fault. All she wanted is for her feelings to be understood, even though it's something impossible to understand one another fully. You managed to at least grasp a bit of it, but still managed to somehow mess everything up. In order for you to get the good ending though, just let Ren run away from the exhibition. During it, Rin gets asked tons of questions about her paintings and herself, but if she were to open up her mouth, something incoherent would come out which will confuse people. Rin doesn't want that. She doesn't even want people to ask her questions in the first place. Rin just wants to be herself and not change into the thing that Nomiya wants her to be. Nomiya obviously gets mad and yells at Rin when she apologizes, and I love these lines he delivers. It reminds you of a toxic relationship with your parents, seeing how you should be grateful about all they did for you. Not even your parents. It doesn't even have to be your parents. It could be like, I don't know, your ex or something like that. I hope he is your ex or she is your ex. People always try to make Ren something that she's not, to do stuff to her that she never asked for, and they get angry at her for not caring about it that much. It's really stupid. Anyways, I think it's time for me to reveal the theme of this game. And it's acceptance. Has always been the theme of this game. In Ren's arc, the only way to understand Ren is not to understand her, but to accept her as she is. Ren is also human, gets sad when yelled at, and is scared and lost, and sometimes doesn't even know what to do. Before Hiso pushed her to become an artist, she was free, doing what she wants to do without a care in the world, while Hiso was trapped in his self-pity. Hiso tried to enter her world, but there is no way he can, because he is himself and Rin is herself. He has his own world and she has hers. Feelings can be made into words, and words can convey these feelings correctly. That's why people create music, art, and stories. It's the world that they envision inside their head, but still, something gets lost in the process. Nothing can truly convey everything you have inside your head, and that's alright. It's not wrong to try and express those feelings through other means, even if they come out fake. But that's also why people can't truly understand you, because everything is subjective. If you feel strongly about something, someone just might think about it as not a big of a deal. It's the nature of life. Hiso can be what Rin wants him to be, to truly understand her, and Rin can be what Hiso wants her to be. Accepting uncertainty, accepting each other's flaws. Rin is scared of Hiso because he makes her change. Not that change that destroys someone, but the change that makes someone happy. Rin is scared of that change still. But at the end, she says that it's alright if it's him, accepting Hiso's love and loving him back in return. It's alright to be you. It's fine to do stuff your own way and go at your own pace. People might rush you, might tell you that you're falling behind, but who really cares, man? Accept yourself and accept that you are you and be fine with what you are. You don't need a world inside your head to belong somewhere. You can find your place here, in real life with the people you love. It's alright to be you with all your flaws and all of your mistakes. Everything is fine at the end, even if you don't feel like it. Accepting death and that someday your life is going to end. Accepting yourself and how it's alright to be you. Accepting life and its predicaments. Accepting that you will make mistakes and accepting a happy ending that you don't feel like you deserve. Katawa Shoujo shows us all of this during the 5 arcs, and also shows us that disabled people are just normal people. That you don't really need to be careful while you're talking to them, or treat them differently than any other human being. They also have their issues they are dealing with, just like me and just like you. Accept the fact that you are alive right now, and go out and live a little.
you.